Good morning. How's it going? I hope you are all having a fantastic day so far. Or good afternoon, good evening if you're watching on the replay. Let me know if you're watching on the replay and all of that jazz that you're meant to say at the start of a live video. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you're having a good week so far. Here we are, Thursday already, and getting towards the end of April. This year has just flown by so far, hasn't it? So today, welcome back to another video of exploring cognitive biases, those little shortcuts we take to make quicker decisions, to make our thinking easier, that sometimes backfire and come to bite us in the bum. Today, we're talking all about frequency illusion. Good morning, Lucy Jackson. You're always one of the first to tune into these. That's always nice to see. So frequency illusion. And I have to give a little tip of the hat to Lydia Lee or Lydia O'Donoghue if she's around or watching, because she tagged me in something yesterday which inspired me to focus on this in today's video. And what she tagged me in was she had never heard of Twirl, the chocolate bar, a Twirl. She'd never heard of it, which is fair enough because she grew up abroad, and apparently it's quite a British thing. So yeah, she'd never heard of it. But since she's heard of it, she's probably now going to see it everywhere she goes. Because it's not an uncommon chocolate bar. Good morning, Adele. It's not an uncommon chocolate bar. It's something you probably see in most shops that sell chocolate bars. It'll be there among all the others. So she's probably going to see it everywhere now. And she mentioned the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. And that's basically what frequency illusion is. So it's called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon because someone was writing about it in a paper years ago, and he wrote about how. So basically, there was a guy who had never heard. So Baader-Meinhof were a far left, I think, German activist group. I'm sure there are people who have more interest in history that can correct me on that. If I've got it wrong, please do let me know. So a guy had never heard of them before at all, and then had a conversation about them, or heard about them one day, and literally the next day there was an article about them in the newspaper, even though they weren't a current thing at that point. So there was no, they weren't newsworthy, as it were, at that time. And so, of course, he contacted his friend straight away and said, "Hey, that's weird. We were talking about this just yesterday, and now I'm reading about it. I've never heard of these guys before, and now they're everywhere." And I've just realised that I've gone weirdly out of focus. So that's probably better for you anyway, right? So he'd never heard of them before, and now he's reading about them in the newspaper the following day. What are the chances of that? How strange. It's actually not as strange as you might think. As with many of these cognitive biases, it doesn't really take into account that statistics often feel counterintuitive to us. The way that we experience things and the way that we expect to experience things aren't necessarily the same thing, and our interpretation of, reality is generally skewed by our perception of it and expectations. And frequency illusion is no different. So what is frequency illusion? It was given that name about 10 years later when it was actually properly studied, by the way. There's two elements at play, really. So it's specifically finding out about a new thing, and then, as a result of that, seeing it more frequently, hence frequency illusion. It's an illusion because that thing doesn't become more frequent since you heard about it. It's just that since you heard about it, you're now able to notice and see the thing because it has relevance to you. So the illusion is, that thing's around more often than than it ever was before. But the reality is you're just noticing it more frequently. So, morning, Cara. So using Lydia as an example, the post that she tagged me in, thanks again, Lydia. She'd never seen a twirl bar before, Now she's heard about them and how great they are. She's looking forward to trying them, and she's probably going to see them everywhere. Which could easily lead her to believe, if she didn't know better, that suddenly they're everywhere, rather than suddenly she's noticing them everywhere. You see the difference? So there's kind of two parts at play here. One is the perception of frequency increasing, so seeing it more often and perceiving, therefore, that it's there more often, when the reality is you're just noticing it more often. And then a kind of confirmation bias. So I've already spoken about this. If you want to find out more, head to mindaffinity.co.uk/lives, and you'll be able to see all of my cognitive bias videos on replay. Or head to the Mind Affinity Facebook page or YouTube or wherever you want to watch it, whatever's easiest for you, and you can find out more about how that works. Yes, Adele, I did talk about something like this before, so obviously the comments are slightly delayed. So what I was talking about before was confirmation bias, and there may be a video entitled cognitive differentiation, possibly not, because that's a big word. And confirmation bias is easier to say. Yeah, so have a look back and you'll be able to see that. And yes, I did speak about it before. Where this is slightly different, only slightly different, is it's still a selection bias, as is confirmation bias. So that's kind of the category, because it's about selection of information. But where frequency illusion is different is it specifically is when you discover a new thing. Confirmation bias isn't always about learning about a new thing and then seeing it everywhere. But yes, they're very, very similar things that are interlinked. So why am I talking about this other than I find it interesting? Right? How can you gain something from this? Well, see, the thing is, we need to be responsive to what's happening around us. Like, that's really important for our survival, for us to be able to interact with the world around us. But at the same time, if we can't ignore our surroundings, then we wouldn't be able to function or complete a task, because there's so much sensory information around us all the time, we'd be pulled this way and that way and never get anywhere. Gone blurry again. It's very strange. Maybe my camera needs a clean. Anyway, so yeah, so this bias plays into that. So we're really good, can be really good at blanking things out that are completely irrelevant to us. We just don't even notice their existence. But then when we have a reason to pay attention to them, we're really good at paying attention to things. So this is kind of what comes to play. So one example, one study that was done on this was cat versus piano. So participants of this study were shown a number of visual images that had lots of different things on the screen to select from, and someone was asked to remember a particular item. So I'm going to show you this image. Can you just remember that piano? Pay attention to and remember the piano. And then they'll show you a new image and ask you to find the cat. And, there's the cat. Now, if the new image has a piano in it, you will be slower to find the cat in the new image, because even though it's not consciously relevant to you, even though it's not part of what you've been asked to do at all in this moment, because you were still aware of needing to remember the piano from before, when you've got this new image, your brain goes, there's the piano, even though you know you're supposed to be looking for a cat. So how can you use this to your advantage? Well, we're influenced by things that are outside of our control all the time, but we can also be influenced by things that we choose to be influenced by. Something as simple as starting your day with an intention, with a thought, with a focus on something positive that you want to notice more in that day, can really make a big difference, because it's like someone saying, remember the piano. So what I'm saying to you right now today is, think about something positive that you would like to see more of today, and notice how much you can find that in the world around you. Use it to your advantage. So maybe you've got a day ahead of you where you really want to be focused and productive. So think about that now and really think about what elements of that you want to be focused on. This is why having a plan for your time can make it far easier to achieve the stuff that you plan to achieve, because you've got that focus in place. So during this time, this is what I'm going to be focusing on, and this is where my attention will be and what my awareness will be about. You're setting that intention for yourself. It can also be something as simple as starting the day thinking about, here's a great example. I think it was Joe Siriani shared a video somewhere recently of drive-by kindness, people just throwing compliments at strangers. What a lovely idea. Maybe that's something that you'd like to see more of. Maybe today you want to be looking for opportunities to notice pleasant things, nice things about other people. And hey, maybe even share that with them and make their day that little bit better too. So that's it. That is frequency illusion. In summary, again, it is learning about something, discovering something for the first time, and then seeing it everywhere. It feels like it's happening more frequently. The reality is you're just more aware of it when it is happening. If you want to find out more, do check out confirmation bias, which is a previous video of mine. And if you've got any questions or you want to know more about different cognitive biases, do let me know, and I may even cover it in a video, or just tag me in a post unsuspectingly like Lydia did. I'll end up making an entire video about it and referencing it back to her constantly. Yeah, wasn't it a brilliant video? Maybe I'll have to find that video and share it in the comments below. Cool, thanks everyone for tuning in. Go and have an awesome week, and I will see you again next week. And if you enjoy the stuff that I put out in these slightly waffly videos but would like a shorter version of it, or you want to see other content from me, then why not subscribe to Monkey Cool? It is my weekly email written by Bananas, he's just over there, you can't see him, he's off screen. He's the Mind Affinity monkey mascot. He writes the email for me because I'm too lazy. And he'll share that out every week on a Sunday evening, a burst of positivity to your inbox. So if you've enjoyed this kind of content and you want a bit more, then check that out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all soon. Have a great day.